Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hollow Bone with Phoenix. If you're new to this show, the Hollow Bone is basically being a channel or a conduit for source where messages, healing, and miracles come through. So each week on this radio show, you can expect to hear live channelings that open your heart and lift your energy, and conversations with visionary leaders that are walking their own path of alignment, and healing transmissions that flow directly through the hollow bone. So, whether you're live or listening to the archives, every episode is a chance to receive guidance, expand your awareness, and align more fully with the miracles that are waiting for you. So today we have such a special guest. Her name is MaLinda Perry, and she is a she is a Wyoming-based dynamo, a hockey mom, and so much more. Her story is absolutely amazing, and her chapter in the book called "Every Heart Holds a Miracle" is called "Just Call Out." So welcome, MaLinda.
Thank you. It's so glad to be here.
You are a dynamo. I'm really glad you used that term in your bio.
Thank you.
So first, let's talk about your chapter and your wonderful grandmother, Dorothy. And then I want to spin out into other aspects of your life that are really so meaningful and connected to Dorothy, if that's okay.
Absolutely. I'd love to. She's one of my favorite people to talk about.
Oh, I
Sh-
bet.
She was my grandmother on my mom's side, and mostly my mom was a single mom for most of that time, so Dorothy raised me. So at one point, it was my mom was, a busy single mom with this wild little Scorpio daughter. And so when we moved to El Paso, Texas, my grandfather had passed away, and my grandmother and my mom combined sources and bought a house together. And so we had four generations of women, my great grandmother, Nanny, my grandma, Dorothy, my mom, and me, in the house. So, Dorothy, um, I probably drove Dorothy crazy. Well, one time I invited the whole bus to a St. Patrick's Day party and didn't tell her. And so everybody showed up, and I asked her to make her beautiful cupcakes with the stuffed centers, the frosting, and St. Patrick's Day. And so she was scrambling to get cupcakes made for 30 kids that I just brought home. So I'm sure there was some, she had to hold her own with me sometimes. So it was, but we had this beautiful relationship, and she, I was never supposed to walk. And so I had, um, thanks to the Shriners, loved them, but my mom couldn't afford to send me to move to Salt Lake to get the treatment. So they worked on a local level. And so I was in lake casts, full lake casts with the stabilizing bar for the first 2 years. And then I went in, learned to walk on my cast. They said she won't walk for a while. Well, I learned to walk on casts and kind of like waddled back as a penguin mode or something. But then I went into Forrest Gump leg braces. And then by the time Dorothy moved in with us, I was in the most hideous shoes ever, corrective shoes. And that was in the early 70s. And so saddle shoes were out, and these were saddle shoes that looked like they were on the wrong feet. And so Dorothy, I was bullied horribly bad. And Dorothy would tell me, just smell pretty and no one will notice your shoes. And so I heard that every day. And every Sunday night, this can make me cry, she would set up camp at the kitchen table and paint my shoes to match my dresses for the week.
Wow.
So she'd paint the white on my shoes. So one week I'd have pink shoes and one week I'd have blue shoes. And she did that for years
Oh,
because I wore those until fifth grade.
wow.
So I finally got my very first pair of like real shoes. And sadly, I was all excited about getting new shoes. And there was only one pair of shoes that I could have because I had to wear these glass inserts into my shoes. And so they had to be Oxfords.
Oh, no.
And so my grandma was like, "Oh, good, I don't have to paint them," but they were the only pair of shoes in the whole shoe store that would fit these insoles. It's so crazy. But so she was the true inspiration for my positivity and being a Gallup strengths coach. All the strengths except for one are all learned behaviors. We start learning them as young as two. And I think my positivity came from her teachings. So I believe she was the one who taught, and I'm number four positivity. So, yeah. And so because of her and the bullying aspect, I started a nonprofit called Happy Girls Don't Do That in order to teach through individual development, community development, all the lessons Dorothy taught me about just being happy and just smile pretty, and people won't notice your flaws. And it's very true. It's amazing how much a smile will go, you know, when you're unsure of yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow, how beautiful. Now,
thank you.
in the story, though, do you mind talking about the story? Just call out because
Oh,
that
sure.
was really poignant in terms of, yeah, your experience and her experience. And yeah.
Thank you. So, there's a little backstory to a little bit of that. My mom, my dad, my mom and dad were in Seattle. My dad was very ill, getting blood stem transplants, and unfortunately, he had passed. And my mom came home, and she kept seeing the number 333 everywhere. And she's like, when he was sick, and also when she got home, she said, "I think I'm going crazy. I think I'm going crazy." And so we were at the local bookstore one night, Hastings, and I found this book. We call her the left-handed Aquarian alien, my mom. And so she was down in the astrology books, and I was up the aisle a little bit, and I saw a book by Doreen Virtue on angel numbers. And I pulled it out, and like everything happens for a reason. I just went to thumb through the book, and it actually opened to 333. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm like, Mom, look at this. And there's a prayer that went with it. And when she started calling out the prayer, when she'd see it, we realized that according to Doreen Virtue, when you see that number, you say, Jesus, Moses, Mary, and Kuan Yin, please help me with. And then because that's a message saying we're here to help you, but you have to tell us what you need help with. And so when she started doing that, the number wasn't so prevalent all the time. And so we really started embracing our angels after that. And so Dorothy was sick. She had MRSA. She was in the hospital. They didn't think she was going to make it. We were, going up there after work and everything. And so we went there this one night, and my mom got there before me, and and they were arguing. And in all the years, I've never seen my mom and grandmother argue about anything. And Dorothy was telling her that there's a man standing in the corner. He's been there all day and he won't talk to her. And being nobody in the corner that we could see, my mom and her were arguing. And so I came in, and Dorothy was telling me, and my mom would go to say something. Dorothy'd say, "Shh, you just shut up. You don't know." And I'm like, what is this with my grandmother being this way? Like she's so combative. And so finally I thought, well, I'm going to treat her like you would a 4-year-old. Who is this? I don't know. What does he look like? He's big and he has long hair and he's wearing a robe and he has a sword. And I'm like, a sword? And so now I'm like, at first I thought it was maybe an angel she was seeing or somebody from her family, like her husband. And I'm like, I don't know anybody who would have a sword. Like, doesn't make sense to me. And so I finally got her calmed down, and I kept saying, maybe he's just here, maybe he'll go away. And so um she said he'd been there all day. So anyway, closing hours were closing time. Everybody needed to leave the hospital. And we were going home. My mom went in her car, I went in mine. And I got about halfway home and had this message pop into my head. And what the message was, you called on St. Michael. And I went, oh, I did. Because I called on him at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And just protect her, keep her healthy, give her strength, that kind of thing. And I called my mom while we were still driving home, and I said, I know who was in the corner. And she said, who? And I said, it was St. Michael. She said, what? Why? Why? How do you know this? And I said, because I called on him to be there. And the description that she gave us is St. Michael. And and my mom's like, you could have told me sooner, so that they weren't fighting. But anyway, when we went back the next day, Dorothy was lucid. She was fine. She's wanted to go home. She's like, let's get me out of here. I'm done. And they're like, we don't understand. Like everybody's like, "Wait." And I told Dorothy, I said, the guy who was in the corner was Saint Michael the angel. And she goes, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was him. And I was like, okay. So then when she was passing and she was going in and out of, and this was years later, but she was going in and out of loose, being lucid, going in and out. And my mom got there before I did. My poor mom, she got there before I did, and she went to sit in the chair, and Dorothy yelled at her and told her not to sit on those kids. You can't. So my mom's standing in there, not being allowed to sit in the chair and she was like, here we go again. And Dorothy kept saying the kids were playing. And I showed up. Dorothy, now she's very lucid, like very well aware of everything, except she kept saying, some guy showed up and I'm not going with him. And I said, oh, really? Yeah, he showed up and told me I needed to go with him, but I'm not going. I said, who was it? She goes, I don't know, but I don't trust him. And I said, was it your husband? Nope. Was it your son? Nope. Was it? And I was naming all these people. And I said, was it your dad? And I said, was it your real dad? And she said, maybe. I think it was. She said, I think maybe you're right, but I'm not going with him. They'll have to send somebody else, but I'm not going with him. I don't trust him. I said, okay. That's okay. You go when you're ready, and we'll support you, whatever you want to do. We still love you. Well, her dad, there were six kids, and the mom died after the baby was born, the last baby, of Spanish influenza, and they lived in Chicago, and he turned all the kids over to boarding school, and the oldest boys were 12 and 13. And money quit coming. So the orphanage forced the boys to sign all of the kids over to, or the boarding school forced them to sign the kids into the orphanage, the boys into the orphanage. And the younger ones were all adopted except for the boys. And they were, they were not, there was no contact. There was very little contact once they were adopted with anything. And Dorothy had said that her father was never showed up, never, all the kids knew was they thought maybe he was dead because it was during World War One. And they never saw him. Well, we found out later he just turned him over. He didn't want anything to do with them. And we also found out he was drunk swimming in Lake Hudson. So, I mean, or in the Hudson River or whatever. And yeah, so she was mad about that. So I think she was like, yeah, I'm not going with him.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, she was kind of she was a spitfire,
Yeah.
and she kept us all on our toes. She's an amazing artist. She didn't discover art till she was in her late 60s. And yeah, and she would tell me every single day, happiness is a choice. You you wake up with a choice and you have to choose to be happy. And she was right because it's something that we're not born with. It has to be taught. Happiness has to be taught. And we're not born with gratitude, we're not born with happiness, nor are we born with positivity.
Mm.
So it's all things we have to teach. And if you're not teaching your littles, then who's teaching them?
Well, so where did she learn that from then? With
I
her?
think she learned that. Well, so the nuns uh, were in charge of the orphanage, and she said they were always really mean. So I'm not really sure that that's where she got that,
Right.
but I think she got that from her adopted mother, and or it was just something that she later in life, she started following Dr. Andrew Weil.
Uh-huh.
And I always say she was the first Andrew Weil guru. And because she would be like, today I learned how to breathe. And she was in her 80s and she would ride her exercise bike and she called me one morning and said, guess what I did? I said, I don't know. I don't even have a clue. And she said, this year I've ridden my bike to New York and back, and we were in Wyoming, and it was
Oh,
only like August. And
oh,
so she tracked her miles every day of what she rode, and she's like, I've already driven to New York and back this year.
my
At
God.
80 years old, I mean, who are you?
Those are your genes that you're coming from. Now we
Right?
understand who you are.
So yeah, she was just this incredible, and she believed with everything that happiness was a choice, and we choose our own happiness, and we make our own happiness. And if you smile pretty, people won't, you know, won't be mean to you and won't like you let your inner soul shine. And so she's just um very gracious. She was this wonderful lady who she was also an Aquarius, just like my mom. So I'm like, I was raised by Aquarians, and here's this little munchkin Scorpio telling everybody they didn't know what
Giving
to do
them
with me.
fits.
So yeah, she was incredible. So I'm so blessed that I can carry on her knowledge and teachings.
Do
So
you know who finally came for her at the end there?
yes, it was her adopted dad.
Wow, nice. That fits, doesn't it?
Not the real dad, but
Yeah,
the adopted dad.
yeah, yeah. No, that fits. That totally fits. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's who came for her, and she and I was not there. My mom was with her at the time. And
Mhm.
so she like apparently he came in a car. So I
Anything's possible, right?
yeah, he came in a car, and so we were like, what a great memory to share with
Yes.
everybody. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and you're living her legacy in with Happy Girls Don't Do That. So let's talk about that because this is monumental here. You're making a world of difference through her memory.
Thank you. So Happy Girls Don't Do That. As I was coaching for all these years, people, young girls and young adults would say, they're so mean to me. Like I'm being bullied and they're so mean to me. And I would say, it's not about you. You're beautiful. You have strong gifts. You have beautiful strengths. You're this amazing person. It's not about you. It's about them because happy girls don't do that. And and that philosophy came from Dorothy. That's why I would say that. My brother came to visit one day, and we do these mini road trips. And he would say something. I go, Jimmy, happy girls don't do that. He's like, why do you keep saying that? And then so I told him, and he immediately said, I don't know how you do this, but you have to make this a thing, and I will support you any way I can. And so at first we were thinking just merchandise or, shirts or whatever. And um, so when I went that direction, they told me I needed, so I bought the domain and I'm one of those who jump through hoops before I know it, I'm jumping into the fire. And so I did this and I did a launch party for the name, and all these people showed up. And I was like, this is pretty crazy. And my brother was there, and they were like, where are you going from here? You need to bring this to life. And so I launched a nonprofit, and everybody said it'll take you months to get your nonprofit, status. I got mine in under 2 weeks. And I came in the mail and I was like,
Amazing.
what do I do with this? And so I put together a board, and of all these people that they didn't even know. I just called them all for this. I have this idea, come to this meeting, and told them, they're like, this is amazing. I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad you think so because you're all on my board. I kind of
Sweet.
hijacked them. And they all agreed. And it's been 4 years. We've been doing it for 4 years. And it's the focus of it is we teach happiness, gratitude, and positivity through individual development and community development. So there's all the girls in our chapter do these challenges to help them grow individually within happiness, gratitude, and positivity because they're not things that we're born with. And so you have to change that mindset. So they work on challenges and individual things and changing that mindset. They work on role playing on how to deal with bullies and how, and we're number three right now in our community's number three in the nation for suicides. And suicides number the second leading cause of death between 10 and 14-year-olds. And so just under cancer. So when you think about that, the second leading cause of death is 10 to 14-year-olds is suicide. And it breaks my heart, but that's not going to change till we educate the kids and change that mind shift. And unfortunately, because of video games and cell phones and all of that, it's become harder and harder to get that mind shift to change. It's also not being taught at home or in school.
Right.
So sorry, I have to get a drink.
Oh, it's
Anyway, so we we're building chapters. We in the business plan we actually have it so it can be globally. We can build chapters, and they can do projects simultaneously, same projects simultaneously with different in different countries and track their numbers. We've got a program for college students, and I've had a request from women to start chapters within their own age group and locally. And it's just amazing. It's endearing to my heart. The kids are phenomenal. And when you think about it, at some point, I'm in my 60s, and at some point, every one of us, every female we know will be bullied at some point by another female. And it's starting now in preschool.
I don't doubt that, and I still find it shocking.
And
Uh,
it's generational. Did you
yeah,
know that? Yeah,
what-
it's
it
generational.
it just
S-
is horrifying, isn't it?
So I guess I'm here to break the curse.
Yes.
I don't know what
Yes.
that looks like, but
Well, because if happiness is learned, then unhappiness is learned.
yes,
And that's why
absolutely.
it becomes generational. It's all they know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And what
that,
strikes me about this too is women, of all ages are reaching out to you. So it
mhm.
doesn't stop just because they're not in school anymore. I mean, we have,
No,
corporate offices, we have,
I
all
was
layers of
bullied
work.
corporately. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And management told me I was bullied. It was horrible. And management told me if we don't see it, probably doesn't, we can't prove it if we don't see it. So, and you know how I solved it?
Tell me.
Killed him with kindness.
Yes.
Literally killed him with kindness to the
Wow.
point where it took me a long time. I had to be very patient about it. And one day one of them called me to her desk crying and said, I owe you an apology.
Wow.
You, I owe you an apology. I've been horrible to you. And this was, I mean, they were horrible to me. And I walked into it every day. And they showed up at work 2 hours before I did. So strategically, they could map out all the stuff that they wanted to do to, and um, we made amends and they apologized. And I would be not the person my grandmother would want me to be if I didn't accept their apology. So,
Oh, absolutely. But I'm amazed you stayed there for as long as you did. I mean,
yeah,
what was that motivation? Was it just to...
stupidity, I'm sure.
Well, but maybe not, maybe there was
Well,
a part of
so
you.
so I was a kitchen designer at Home Depot, spent 20 years in the design field and needed a break, so I went and needed insurance. So I went to work at Home Depot and I was kicking out $75,000 kitchens and just really beautiful stuff. And I loved what I did. I loved my clients. And so my thought was I could stay there and I had no choice. Like live in a small rural community. The choices were limited. And so I needed to find a way to make it work. And so that was all I knew was how to kill him with kindness. My mom would say that. My mom taught me from early on to consider the source.
Mhm.
And that's one of Happy Girl's mottos is consider the source and kill him with kindness and all those things that I was taught growing up and implemented it and it worked.
Oh
So,
my goodness, what a success story.
yeah.
And how empowering for all the girls and women that are following you in this.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. Um I don't think I'm doing anything great. I just have a message and I love it when even as a coach, what I like most is when people start to see themselves
Mhm.
through my eyes.
Mhm.
And they can start to see that they really are amazing. They really are extraordinary. They have these beautiful gifts to give. And why not share that with
Mhm.
the world?
Mhm.
Why not just embrace these amazing things that you bring to the table?
Mhm.
So that's all I do.
Just all. Well,
Well,
not really. It's not all, but it is a big part of what you do. And you're also a hockey mom, and so that has its own,
yeah, it has
yes,
its own smell.
yeah, it's so true. Indescribable.
It is indescribable. One time my son was younger and he left. They were there for team pictures, and in one of the locker rooms, he's like, I have to find I can't remember what we were looking for, a sock or something. And the littles, his team had all moved out of the locker room, and all the big boys had moved in, all the high school boys. And we went in that locker room to find that sock, and I immediately left the room and found the nearest trash can so I could throw up.
Oh,
And all the high school boys came over to help me, except they stink. And so they're all like standing over me, and I'm just a little munchkin. So I came like to their stomach probably once you get them on skates.
yes.
And I was like, I love you guys and thank you, but you need to go. I need air. I just need to breathe. And so, yeah, and I had two hockey players at home. So,
Oh
and
my.
they're very like they don't like you washing their gear. I'm just
No,
telling
I know. There's
you. Oh,
almost
no,
like
no. Yeah, we don't
superstitious
wash.
about it.
So I would wait till they would leave for the summer because we were a blended family, and then I'd hose it all down and Clorox it all and shove it back in their stinky bag and they're basically a bacterial process in the making.
Yeah, yeah,
They
it's
are. I
true.
love them, but they're stinky. Stinky boys.
So was it your oldest that was in the exhibition game then?
So no, it was my youngest,
Youngest.
Ashton, who's was my son, my bio son. So I was had one and then I was bonus mom for three and
Nice.
very blessed. I still love them dearly. But Ashton was in a college hockey game and it was exhibition game. They were there to support another college bringing in a hockey team. And he was hit illegally from behind. The game was at 10 o'clock at night. And he was hit illegally from behind. The guy took one arm, his forearm, to the back of his head and his knee. The other one, so he hit him like this and took his kneecap, the skater took his kneecap to the back of Ashton's thigh and severed his femur. The surgeon told us it was 23,000 pounds of pressure
Oh,
to break that in half. And I was on, so I don't know if you're familiar with Colorado, but Ashton was on the western slope
okay.
and I was on the other side of the Rockies. And the game was at 10:30 at night and they
Oh,
didn't know anything other than, and being the hockey mom I was, we always told him, if you lay on that ice more than 30 seconds, you better get up and get off because I don't want you milking it for anything. So he
mm,
was taught to not lay there, and he thought he broke his stick,
oh,
and because he heard it break, and he tried to get up 3 or 4 times and couldn't. And the last time he tried, his heel was pointing. He was on his back, and his heel was pointing up, and his toe was pointing
oh,
down. And he's like, he has a very high pain tolerance. He always has, but so and when they called me, they all they said was, "We think he broke his leg." And I went back, I hung up, was like, "Okay, it's a broken leg." And then something like another angel message or whatever said, "If if he broke his tibia, that's one thing. If he breaks his femur, that's another thing." So I called him back on Ashton's phone and said, "What part of the leg do you think they broke?" And they said femur. And I said, "Do I need to come?" Not that I would know how to, navigate my way to the other side of the mountain. But they said, "No, we'll call you as soon as." And he was very fortunate. He had the Olympic hockey team surgeon.
oh,
And so she was incredible and told me that, which was very sad. Right before surgery, she called me and said, schedule counseling because he's never going to be the same kid
oh,
that you knew. And she was right. He wasn't. So we spent years trying to um, get Ashton as we knew him back to being Ashton as we knew him. And there's still PTSD and all of that he still suffers from that injury. So yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
no.
But things happen so we can learn. It's a speed bump. And
Mhm.
he's incredible and he coaches these amazing kids. And yeah,
Wow.
that's really, he's really learned that there's messages and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Holy smokes. And you are thinking of collaborating on a project?
Uh-huh. So we've talked for years about writing a book. He has CAPD, which is a form of neurodivergence that most people don't know about. It's not generally talked about, and it's not usually talked about in school because there's no funding for it like ADD and ADHD. And he was misdiagnosed until fifth grade. And so our idea was to write about all of this because we were told, and it's so sad that they tell kids this, but never expect them to graduate high school, never expect them to go to college, and don't ever really expect them to have a career. That is, and so hockey was his release because that's where he could shine. And so um, he ended up moving to Colorado to play more competitive hockey from Wyoming. And his sophomore year ended up graduating high school early, went on to after his injury, went on to get his bachelor's and did an internship in Ireland,
Mm.
and then got his master's degree. And
Proving everybody wrong.
and a kid with competition will do that in a heartbeat.
Yep. Yep.
So, yep, he has proven everybody wrong.
Wow. But
So our idea for the book is both of us writing it together.
oh,
So I write the parent's side of the story, he writes his side of the story. Um,
beautiful.
so that people, because I didn't know what was going on. Like I could describe what CAPD was,
Mhm.
and come to find out, guess who he gets it from?
Of course, the wild Scorpio.
Mhm. Yep, mom. And I found out from this amazing doctor that neurodivergence comes from the mother's mitochondria. So,
Really?
yeah. So
That's crazy.
I have that to give. I gave that to him.
Mm.
So he never ceases to thank me for that.
Oh my goodness gracious. What a what a story.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Like
Oh,
when you think about what our kids bring to the table, and I
and
just
the
love it.
resiliency, that
Yes, very
show
resilient.
through
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, through every like and trust me, the school system and I want to say, but really they don't do the- those kids don't walk out of the school system saying I'm going to move mountains,
No.
and which is really sad. And someday I will change that.
Mhm. Yes. Well, you already are with Happy Girls Don't Do That, right? Mm.
I'd like to start a school. And so
Ah,
that's
perfect.
one of my go-tos. And it will
Yes.
embrace strengths and happiness and for those kids who um, need to feel like they can move
Mhm,
mountains,
mhm.
but aren't getting it from anybody else. So,
Yeah, the support from that.
yeah.
Yeah. And would that be in Wyoming?
Y- yeah, I
I
would
don't.
think it would be one of the only schools west of the Mississippi.
Uh-huh.
So we
Uh-huh.
actually Ashton and I did a bunch of research at one point because we were looking for strengths-based schools
Mhm.
that we could send him to, and they were all on the East Coast.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. And so we've been working on the plan for several years, and so um, someday it will happen, I believe.
Absolutely.
Well,
Well, and with schools already, in progress, you have working templates that you can modify and create your own idea
yes.
for. So it's not like you have to recreate everything from ground up.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Don't want to reinvent the wheel,
No, that would be too much. Yeah.
but at least give give our littles the opportunity to
Mm.
shine bright. And
Absolutely.
I just think it's so important. So,
The littles and the bigs.
yeah, the littles and the bigs, So you asked me about, well, I was going to tell you about a story that would blow your mind.
Okay, good.
Are
All
you
right.
ready?
Not that I'm not blown away already, but yes, there's more.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure this isn't like one you've ever heard. And um, so when Dorothy and my mom and I moved to El Paso, Texas, in kindergarten, they didn't have kindergarten at the school, so we had to go to a private kindergarten.
Mhm,
And I met this girl named Sherry. And come to find out, we only lived 3 blocks, and her name was not spelled the typical name either. And so
mhm.
we had that in common.
Ah,
And she lived about 3 blocks away from me in the same neighborhood. And we were instant best friends. We ended up in the same first grade class with Mrs. Canada together, and we rode the same school bus together. And we would, just like every girl who says, wouldn't it be cool if we were sisters? Wouldn't it be cool if we were sisters? So in third grade, um, she got off the bus. We got off the bus. I said, "What is wrong with you?" I remember this as clear as day. And I said, "What is wrong with you?" And she said, "My mom and dad are getting a divorce." and her dad was military. So as an adult now, I understand that. He was military, never home. Their mom was the only, I met their mom a couple times. Usually when I went to the house, it was her older sister that was there. And she didn't really know Sherry never really met my mom because she was always working, but she knew Dorothy. And so we were inseparable, either my house or her house, and all the time for years. And so I said, it's okay. Don't worry about that, my little positive self. Don't worry
Mhm.
about that. Now you'll get two Christmases and two birthdays and twice the love, and you'll get more grandparents than you could ever imagine. And so I was just, and she's like, oh, okay. So fast forward, we're in fourth grade, and her dad was at my mom's office doing some work, and he saw her nameplate. And they had he had invited me, or Sherry had invited me to go with her dad to New Mexico for the weekend. And my grandmother said yes, but she forgot to tell my mom. And so Sherry's dad, his name is Phil, said, "Oh, is Melinda going with me this weekend?" And my mom said, "I don't know who you are," explicitive words, "but my daughter's not going anywhere with you." And she promptly called security and had him escorted out of the building. And so she went home and was telling Dorothy about this. Um, and Dorothy's like, "Oh, I told her she could go."
Oops.
And so I ended up going with him, and that was in October. And in November, late November, he came back to finish the job without being thrown out, and also apologized to my mom. And he said, in order, what I wanted to do is for a better apology was to invite you to my Christmas party.
Oh,
And she said yes. And so they went to the Christmas party, and then about 2 weeks later, she's reciprocated and said, "Would you like to go?" And meanwhile, that's all they did
wow.
was she went to his party and he went to her party.
Mhm.
And after that, they got married on January 10th
Oh my God.
after knowing each other for basically 10 days. Um, yeah, and so my very best friend in the whole world became my sister.
Oh.
And we're still best friends. And my mom is still their mom. He was amazing at blending our family so that we were all on the same team. And we are, as siblings, we're close, and we're scattered, but we're close. And yeah, it's
Oh,
it's it's magical.
that is magical. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It So yeah, Sherry's in El Paso and I'm in Wyoming, and
Mhm.
it's just, yeah, we talk several times a week and message each other all the time, just like sisters and best friends do. But yeah,
Oh,
so my best friend became my sister.
oh man, it was just meant to be, wasn't it?
It was.
Oh, that's
It's
a
like it's amazing how the universe works.
absolutely. Oh my
So,
gosh, I
yeah.
love that. Thank you for saving that for the last heartwarming, happy,
Oh,
positive story. I mean, what a way to end this.
yeah, I was blessed. I've been blessed. I
Mhm.
have to say, very
Yeah,
blessed. So my
yes.
angels are amazing.
Oh, yes, and your grandmother Dorothy was too, and your mom, and oh my,
Oh yeah, she's our biggest angel, I think. So
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, she's so whenever we see ladybugs, we know Dorothy's with us.
oh, that's so sweet. Oh
So
my gosh. So now it's possible that some of our listeners may want to contact you about Happy Girls Don't Do things like that.
mhm.
And so, do you have a website? Do you would like to
We
say?
do.
Okay.
It's www, happy girls don't do that. No punctuation, just all one,
Mhm.
.org.
Okay.
And my or you can send me an email at happygirlsdon'tdothat at gmail.com.
We'll
So,
probably do that one. Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty easy. And yeah, we're looking, always looking to start chapters, adult, college,
Oh,
littles. We have it in the program that, at least for the elementary, junior high, and high school girls, they do have the opportunity to graduate with pink and orange cords. So, who doesn't want pink and orange honor
who
cords?
doesn't want
I mean,
that?
right? Yeah.
Wow.
So we do. We're all about community service and growing through our community, helping our community grow, and learn about positivity and happiness. And
Oh, fabulous.
it's
Oh,
so funny. The littles in this chapter wanted to do a hugging booth, and I was like, no, no. No, we're
maybe
not
not.
you're not doing touch. You're not hugging strangers. And
We're not
so
teaching too
they
much here.
decided to do a hugging booth and give away little bags of hugs,
Oh,
hershey's.
there you go. There you
Yeah, so they're not like hugging strangers.
go. Good idea.
But
Innocence,
they're
right?
just amazing. It's amazing what these girls do. They're just the thoughts that and how they want to carry forward and be inspirational. It's just so great.
Oh,
I'm just blessed. They teach me so much.
oh, isn't that wonderful? Oh my gosh.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for making the world a better place. Oh,
I'm trying.
oh yeah. You're not trying, you're doing it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's fun. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. Well,
Thank you.
thank you so very much for being our speaker today, and I
Thank you.
thank you for the listeners, who those who are listening live, and those who are listening to the archives, and you'll get a copy of this too. So wherever you care to share this, you can put this on your website if you want, or wherever you want.
Thank you. I
So
absolutely will. Absolutely.
yeah,
How
yeah,
fun. Thank you
helps
so
more
much.
people to find you. Yes,
That would be amazing. I would
yes,
love that.
absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so very much, and namaste to you and to all of
Namaste.
our
Thank you.
listeners. Yes.